This is Jonathan Agger of Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Johnny Nelson here in Birmingham. It's Easter weekend, but you're still working. Yeah. How's life?
Life's alright, man. Life's alright. We're good. We're just it's a busy weekend, so it's either Easter eggs, chocolate, or cutting the grass. So we're down in Birmingham instead.
Ben Whittaker, seems like huge pressure on him this Sunday night. He's the guy with the Olympian, the showreel, viral highlights. How much pressure do you feel he's under on Sunday to deliver?
He's under immense pressure, and the pressure's all on him, not on Liam. Liam is living the dream. So everything that's happened thus far for Liam he's a bonus as far as he's concerned. He's got paid extra money than what he wanted because of a clerical error, should I say. So he's living the dream, and I'm happy for him.
Ben's the guy, who was built up and, seen as the next big thing. Is it a complete disaster does he have to win this fight well, not just win it?
I wouldn't listen. He's got to win and get this past him, and I'm quite sure for 5 or 6 fights down the line, if people are going to keep talking about this and talking about this, they'll use the Ben Whittaker line and whatever, and this is part of our sport where you've got to be thick-skinned to ignore the abuse, but you've also got to ignore the praise as well, because they'll say people that'll praise you will abuse you, and that hurts more than anything else. So you've got to be thick-skinned to think, this is what I'm doing, this is the path I'm taking, and this is how I'm doing it. And then once you've got that thick skin, that thick layer of skin on you, then you'll grow as a fighter.
You've known Frazer Clarke for years, I would assume, from the Sky days and everything else. Good to see him back, but what would he have gone through mentally the last few months?
Frazer Clarke, he talks, and I feel the bitterness because of people's reaction to his last fight, but the bitterness, I think it's misunderstood. I think people have said what they said out of love, out of caring, because Frazer's a nice guy. So when you see something like that, you're going to talk from your point of view. When you've got fighters seeing a fight and the knockout, you're like, even the fighter's like, oh my God, it's bad. You know what I mean? So the worry is this: I hope Frazer is completely, risk-free from this. But I tell you now, everybody will be watching this fight on Sunday night, trying to read something into how he took a shot, how he reacted from a shot, has it affected him. We're all going to be watching for that. Frazer's got to think like a fighter, like a warrior, so he can't afford to have that worry in the back of his head. He can't afford to let our negative perspective affect him. So I understand where he's coming from. I totally get where he's coming from, and so I'm curious. I'm just curious to see how he performs on Sunday night.
Last topic to get your opinion on. Next week you'll be in London for Ben in Eubank. We saw powerful stuff from Eubank Sr. Obviously still against the fight happening and things like that. What did you make of his comments? Because he was quite vocal in calling his son a disgrace and things like that.
Well, you know what? When you're younger, you're at home, you get cussed out by your parents, and things are said behind closed doors. And if your mates are like, "Ooh, that was one of those things," yeah, you had a father cussing at his son, and that's what it is. He was cussing at his son because he wasn't happy with what he saw or how he's conducted himself. He's speaking as a father, not as a manager, not as a promoter, not as a hanger-on, as a father. So in doing that, he's going to speak from his truth, where he sees it, from his wisdom, from his experiences. And Chris Jr. is reacting like, he's acting like, I'm a man making my own path in life. Let me make my own mistakes. Let me create my own wisdom. So I get it from both sides of the fence.
Will that affect Chris in any way next week? The fight's going ahead. So.
It would bother me. But there's probably a lot more going on in the Eubank household, where Chris has had to pull the shutters down and say, no, you know what, right now you stay there and I'll stay here. So there's a lot more that's not our business that's going on in the Eubank household.
Lastly, I think you're on record saying you think Eubank's going to win next week, but will you sort of reserve judgment until after the weigh-in and see how he looks, or?
No, what I said is, if it's early, I'd go Conor, but if it goes points, I'm going Chris, because I think I didn't look at Chris's last performance. I wasn't impressed. The reason why I say I lean towards Chris is because Conor's been out of the ring 15, 16 months now. He's the naturally smaller fighter, so there's too many things going against him for me to put my house on it. And at one point, Conor, I said, you know what, Conor is one of the fastest improving fighters I've seen, and until obviously the scandal hit his career. So let's just see how it rolls on.
Lastly, did you ever have to do a rehydration clause at any point in your career?
No. I was one of those fighters I had to fight on the same day we weighed in. So you're talking old school dread. But that's what I'm saying. If you're it was hard, yeah. And so once it changed and you had 24 hours before, it's like a godsend. So it was hard. So these guys have got it made right now. So rehydration clause, do me a favour.
Johnny, appreciate your time. Enjoy the show on Sunday. Appreciate it.